Ielts Practice Tests Plus by Vanessa Jakeman and Claire McDowell. Published by Pearson Education Limited. Cassette 1, Side 1. Skills for Ielts. Listening. Listen to extracts 1 and 2 and answer questions 1, 2 and 3. Extract 1.
Good afternoon. Ticket office.
Oh, hello. Can we still get tickets for tonight's performance of the concert?
Yes, there are tickets still available.
How much are they?
Full price is $35 or $25 concession for students.
$25 sounds okay. And what time does it start?
Doors open at 6:30 p.m, but the concert doesn't begin until 7:15.
Can I get 2 student concessions for this evening then, and collect them at the door?
Certainly. Do you have your student ID with you?
Extract 2.
Good morning. Can I come in?
Yes, come on in.
I'd like to enroll for an English course at this college. Can you tell me when the next course starts?
Right. Well, the next intermediate English course begins on Monday the 10th of September. You could probably join that one. Otherwise, you'd have to wait until January or April.
I think I'd like to do the next course if possible. I'm going home in April.
Okay. Could you take a seat, and I'll get one of the teachers to have a word with you.
Now listen to Extract 3 and answer the questions. Extract 3.
Good morning. I'm from Rex Research. We're a firm of market researchers and we're doing a survey on shopping choices. Would you mind answering a few quick questions? It won't take a minute.
Oh, all right.
Can you tell me whether you wash your hair every day, 5 times a week, 3 times a week, or less?
Oh, usually every other day.
Okay, so let's say 4 times a week?
Yes, I suppose so.
Do you always buy the same brand of shampoo?
I tend to buy a different one each time, I think.
So are you influenced by your budget, the shape of the bottle, or the publicity?
Oh, I think I usually go for value for money. I don't take much notice of the advertising or what the bottle looks like.
Right. Thank you for answering our questions. Please accept this free sample with our compliments.
Oh, thank you very much.
Now listen to Extract 3 again and answer questions 7 and 8.
Good morning. I'm from Rex Research. We're a firm of market researchers and we're doing a survey on shopping choices. Would you mind answering a few quick questions? It won't take a minute.
Oh, all right.
Can you tell me whether you wash your hair every day, 5 times a week, 3 times a week, or less?
Oh, usually every other day.
Okay, so let's say 4 times a week?
Yes, I suppose so.
Do you always buy the same brand of shampoo?
I tend to buy a different one each time, I think.
So are you influenced by your budget, the shape of the bottle, or the publicity?
Oh, I think I usually go for value for money. I don't take much notice of the advertising or what the bottle looks like.
Right. Thank you for answering our questions. Please accept this free sample with our compliments.
Oh, thank you very much.
Listen to Extract 4. You'll hear 4 different mini-talks. In each case, identify the main idea. Sometimes this will be explicitly stated, sometimes it will be in the overall message. Extract 4. 1.
What I want to emphasize is the cost of the project. Since 1990, £43 million have been spent on the extension to the suburban train line.
2.
If you want to get a distinction on this course, you're going to have to put the hard work in. And that means handing your assignments in on time, turning up for all the tutorials and doing well in the exams.
3.
It's interesting how some people can be passionate about certain things while others have no interest in them at all. For instance, I have some friends who just love horses. They love to ride them, to breed them and race them. In fact, horses are their lives. Personally, I can't see the attraction.
4.
It was amazing. We were sitting there on the plane in London, waiting for the other passengers to board, just about to take off, when I looked up, and who do you think was coming down the aisle? It was Mike, all the way from Melbourne. And as if that weren't strange enough, he had the seat next to me. I couldn't believe it. What a coincidence.
Listen to extract 4 again and pause after each speaker. Make notes of some of the supporting information. 1.
What I want to emphasise is the cost of the project. Since 1990, £43 million have been spent on the extension to the suburban train line.
2.
If you want to get a distinction on this course, you're going to have to put the hard work in. And that means handing your assignments in on time, turning up for all the tutorials, and doing well in the exams.
3.
It's interesting how some people can be passionate about certain things while others have no interest in them at all. For instance, I have some friends who just love horses. They love to ride them, to breed them and race them. In fact, horses are their lives. Personally, I can't see the attraction.
4.
It was amazing. We were sitting there on the plane in London, waiting for the other passengers to board, just about to take off, when I looked up, and who do you think was coming down the aisle? It was Mike, all the way from Melbourne. And as if that weren't strange enough, he had the seat next to me. I couldn't believe it. What a coincidence.
Listen to extract 5 and answer the question. Extract 5.
Ladies, gentlemen and children, welcome to the Australian Museum. Great to see so many of you here this morning for the opening of our fantastic exhibition on spiders. As you know, we've got some particularly mean spiders in Australia, but most spiders are quite harmless and play an essential role in maintaining the balance of nature. One of our primary aims with this exhibition is to inform people about these wonderful little 8-legged creatures who work in harmony with mankind.
Listen to extract 6 and answer the question. Extract 6.
Can you tell us about the new running shoes which you've developed for the Olympic athletes?
Sure. Well, the shoes were designed by a team of researchers at the University of Calgary, where we've been looking at ways of increasing performance by reducing the damaging effects of vibrations on a runner's body.
What's so special about them?
Well, basically, they can boost the athlete's performance by up to 4%. The shoes are made of conventional materials, but by varying the elasticity of the sole, we believe the shoes can slice around 4 minutes off the time of a marathon runner, which is the difference between finishing first or 21st.
Wow!
They may also prove to be useful in helping elderly people to walk, but we're still working on this aspect of the shoe.
Listen to extract 7 and answer questions 11 to 14. Extract 7.
Welcome to Portsmouth Naval Dockyard. We're standing next to what remains of King Henry VIII's ill-fated flagship, the Mary Rose. As you may know, the ship sank in July 1545, just off the coast of England, not far from here. The king himself apparently watched in horror from the shore. As the sea entered her gun ports, she tipped over and sank to the bottom, where she lay for more than 400 years. That's 4 centuries, buried in the mud. In 1971, the wreck was rediscovered, but it wasn't until 1982 that the ship was raised. Since then, a massive research program has taken place to unravel the mystery of why she sank. One of the scientists is a tree ring specialist, and he's been studying the preserved timbers of the ship, and they now believe, after analysing the timbers, they have uncovered a vital clue as to why the ship sank.
Listen to Extract 8 and answer question 15. Extract 8.
Did the school give you a list of what you'll need for the camping trip?
Yes, they did. Got it here somewhere.
Okay, read it out then.
2 pairs of old sports shoes, 1 woolen pullover,
Okay, you've got that.
1 sleeping bag, 1 foam mattress. No blow-up mattresses allowed as they don't fit in the tent.
Right.
6 pairs of socks.
6?
Yes.
And gloves too?
No, gloves aren't on the list.
And what about a torch for finding your way around in the dark?
Yes, flashlight is mentioned and spare batteries too.
Listen to Extracts 9 and 10 and answer the questions. Extract 9.
The new education building on campus is known as an intelligent building. That means that the lifts are supposed to know if you're waiting for them, and the lights should go off automatically if there's no one in the rooms. But in fact, the lights often go off in the middle of lectures, and you have to get up and wave your arms around to turn them on again. And in the summer, the air conditioning is so cold, you often need to wear a coat. I don't think that's very intelligent, do you?
Extract 10.
Over the past 150 years, bicycles have undergone an enormous number of changes. In fact, the bicycle is now a mature product. So much so that any dramatic advances are no longer likely. However, there are still exciting times ahead for the bike. Concerns about pollution, health and traffic congestion, as well as fashion and new construction materials, are highlighting the role of the bicycle in our everyday lives. And for many people, especially over short distances of less than 8 kilometers, using a bike can often be much faster than driving a car.
Test 1. You will hear a number of different recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. Write all your answers in the listening question booklet. At the end of the real test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to Test 1, Section 1, on page 30. Test 1, Section 1. A woman wants to find out about a paragliding course. Listen to the conversation between the woman and the man and answer the questions. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 7. You will see that there is an example which has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played twice.
Hello, Paragliders Paradise. How can I help you?
Oh, hi. I'm interested in doing a course in paragliding.
Which course are you interested in?
Well, I'm not sure. What's available?
Well, we've got the introductory course which lasts for 2 days.
Okay.
Or there's the 4-day beginner's course, which is what most people do first. I'd tend to recommend that one. And there's also the elementary pilot course, which takes 5 to 6 days depending on conditions.
We might try the beginner's course.
The woman says they would like to try the beginner's course. So the answer is B, the 4-day beginner's course. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 7.
Hello, Paraglider's Paradise. How can I help you?
Oh, hi. I'm interested in doing a course in paragliding.
Which course are you interested in?
Well, I'm not sure. What's available?
Well, we've got the introductory course, which lasts for 2 days.
Okay.
Or there's the 4-day beginner's course, which is what most people do first. I'd tend to recommend that one. And there's also the elementary pilot course, which takes 5 to 6 days depending on conditions.
We might try the beginner's course. What sort of prices are we looking at?
The introductory is $190. The beginner's course, which is probably what you'd be looking at, is $320. No, sorry, $330. It's just gone up. And the pilot course is $430.
Right.
And you also have to become a member of our club so that you're insured. That'll cost you $12 a day. Everyone has to take out insurance, you see.
Does that cover me if I break a leg?
No, I'm afraid not. It's only third party and covers you against damage to other people or their belongings, but not theft or injury. You would need to take out your own personal accident insurance.
I see. And what's the best way to get to your place? By public transport, or could we come by bike? We're pretty keen cyclists.
It's difficult by public transport, though there is a bus from Newcastle. Most people get here by car, though, 'cause we're a little off the beaten track. But you could ride here, okay? I'll send you a map. Just let me take down a few details. What's your name?
Maria Gentle.
And your address, Maria?
Well, I'm a student staying with a family in Newcastle.
So it's care of...
Care of Mr. and Mrs. McDonald.
Like the hamburgers?
Yes, exactly.
McDonald.
The post office box address is probably best. It's P.O. Box 676, Newcastle.
Is there a fax number there? Because I could fax you the information.
Yes, actually there is. It's 0249, that's for Newcastle, and then 775431.
Okay, now if you decide to do one of our courses, you'll need to book in advance and to pay when you book. How would you be paying?
By credit card, if that's okay. Do you take Visa?
Yes, fine. We take all major cards, including Visa.
Okay then. Thanks very much.
The girl is telling her friend about the course. Look at questions 8 to 10. Now listen to their conversation and answer questions 8 to 10.
Hi, Pauline.
Hi, Maria. What's that you're reading?
Just some information from a paragliding school. It looks really good fun. Do you fancy a go at paragliding?
Sure. Do you have to buy lots of equipment and stuff?
Not really. The school provides the equipment, but we'd have to take a few things along.
Such as?
Well, it says here, clothes, wear stout boots, so no sneakers or sandals, I suppose, and clothes suitable for an active day in the hills. Preferably a long-sleeve t-shirt. That's probably in case you land in the stinging nettles. It also says we should bring a packed lunch. We do not recommend soft drinks or flasks of coffee. Water is really the best thing to drink. We need to bring suntan lotion and something to protect your head from the sun.
Okay, that sounds reasonable. And where would we stay?
Well, look,
They seem to operate a campsite too, because it says here that it's only $10 a day to pitch a tent. That'd be fine, wouldn't it? And that way we'd save quite a bit, because even a cheap hotel would cost money.
Or perhaps we could stay in a bed and breakfast nearby. It gives a couple of names here we could ring. I think I might prefer that. Hotels and youth hostels would all be miles away from the farm, and I don't fancy a caravan.
No, I agree. But let's take a tent and pray for good weather.
Okay, let's do it. What about next weekend?
No, I can't. I'm going on a geography field trip.
And then it's the weekend before the exams, and I really do need to study.
Okay then, let's make it the one after the exams.
Fine. We'll need a break by then. Can you ring and let me know if you can find out some...
That is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 2 on page 32. Test 1, section 2. You will hear a reporter talking on the radio about old racing cars. First, look at questions 11 to 16. As you listen to the first part of the talk, answer questions 11 to 16.
The Goodwood Museum is currently celebrating some of the most extravagant types of car design in its Festival of Speed. Here's our reporter, Vincent Freed, who's on site to tell us about some of the cars on display.
Well, here I am, standing in front of one of the most prestigious cars ever built, the Duesenberg. A fantastically expensive, luxurious car built in the early part of the 20th century and bearing all the glamorous qualities of the Jazz Age. How many were there? Well, only 473 Duesenberg J-types were ever built, and the model here is one of the rarest. Each had a short 125-inch chassis or framework, and the body was always in the form of an open two-seater. The technology behind the car's 6.9-litre engine was extraordinary. It featured capsules of mercury in the engines to absorb vibration and provide an incredibly smooth ride. In fact, these cars offered unparalleled performance. In an age when 160 kilometers per hour was considered very fast, the Duesenberg promised a top speed of 180 kilometers per hour and could do 140 kilometers per hour in second gear. Duesenberg, who designed the car, sold it as a frame and engine. This was typical of the age again, and many prestige manufacturers such as Rolls-Royce did exactly the same. Owners able to afford the hefty $9,000 price tag for the basic car would then commission a coachwork company to build a body tailored to their own individual requirements. The Duesenberg's great attraction for the driver was its instrument panel, which offered all the usual features, but also several others, including a stopwatch. It was the Duesenberg's technology that lay behind its success as a racing car, and they dominated the American racing scene in the 1920s, winning the Indianapolis Grand Prix in 1924, 25, and 27.
Now look at questions 17 to 20. As the talk continues, answer questions 17 to 20.
On to another celebrity, the 1922 Leia Helica. Only 30 of these French propeller cars were built, and the model here at Goodwood, which was the fourth to be made, is thought to be the only surviving example still capable of running. The brains behind this car was Marcel Leia, who was an aviation pioneer first and foremost, and the influence of flying is quite apparent in the car. The Leia very strongly resembles a light aircraft with its front propeller, but in this case, it's minus any wings, of course. It's quite odd to think that this car was whirring through France just as the Duesenberg was blasting down roads at 160 kilometers per hour across the Atlantic. The Leias were used regularly in France in the 1920s and were even produced in saloon and van form, as well as two-seater. The Leia matched its propeller drive with its equally bizarre steering, which used the rear rather than the front wheels. But despite looking rather frail, it was a tough machine. In fact, when troops tried to steal it during the Second World War, the car's baffling design was clearly beyond the would-be thieves, and it ended up being driven into a tree, breaking the propeller. And now for the Firebird. This extraordinary car was...
That is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 3 on page 33. Test 1, section 3. In this section, you will hear a discussion between two students, Rosie and Mike, and a university tutor. In the first part of the discussion, they're talking about a survey they have conducted on local entertainment. First, look at questions 21 to 26. Now listen to the first part of the discussion and answer questions 21 to 26.
Good morning, everyone. Well, I think we can start straight away by getting Rosie and Mike to do their presentation. Would you like to start, Rosie?
Yes. Well, we've done a survey on local entertainment. Basically, we tried to find out how students feel about the entertainment in the town and how much they use it.
Yes, so we've called our project Out and About.
Yes, that's a good title, Out and About.
We wanted to find out how well students use the entertainment facilities in town, whether they get to see the latest plays, films, that kind of thing.
Now, we have our own facilities on campus, of course.
Oh, yes. We deliberately omitted those as we really wanted to examine outside entertainment in the town as opposed to on the university campus.
Actually, there were a lot of areas to choose from, but in the end, we limited ourselves to looking at 3 general categories: cinema, theatre and music.
Right.
OK, well, first of all, cinema. In the town, there are 3 main places where you can see films. There's the new multi-screen cinema complex, the old park cinema, and a late-night Odeon.
So, if you look at this chart, in terms of audience size, the multi-screen complex accounts for 75% of all cinema seats. The park cinema accounts for 20% of seats, and the late-night Odeon has just 5% of seats.
As you probably know, the complex and the park show all the latest films, while the late-night cinema tends to show cult films. So, when we interviewed the students, we thought the complex would be the most popular choice of cinema. But surprisingly, it was the late-night Odeon.
Yeah, and most students said that if they wanted to see a new film, they waited for it to show at the park, because the complex is more expensive and further out of town, so you have to pay more to get there as well.
Yes, and that adds to the cost, of course, and detracts from the popularity, evidently.
Well, next, we looked at theatres. The results here were interesting because, as you know, there's a theatre on campus which is popular, but there's also the Stage Theatre in town, which is very old and architecturally quite beautiful. And there's the large modern theatre, the Ashtop, that has recently been built.
So you just looked at the 2 theatres in town?
Yes, but the thing about the theatres is that there's a whole variety of seat prices. Also, the types of performance vary, so students tend to buy seats at both and like using both for different reasons. And if they want cheap seats at the Ashtop, they can just sit further from the front.
What we did find that was very interesting is that there are periods during the year when students seem to go to the theatre and periods when they go to the cinema. And we really think that's to do with budget. If you look at this graph, you can see that there's a peak around November, December when they go to the theatre more, and then a period in April, May when neither is particularly popular. And then theatre viewing seems to trail off virtually, while the cinema becomes quite popular in June, July.
I think you're probably right about your conclusions.
In the second part of the discussion, Rosie and Mike talk about different music clubs. Look at questions 27 to 30 first. As you listen to the discussion, complete the chart about the different music clubs. Some answers have been done for you. Listen carefully and answer questions 27 to 30.
Well, lastly, we looked at music, and this time we were really investigating the sort of small music clubs that offer things like folk, or specialise in local bands.
So not musicals as such?
That's right.
We looked at 3 small music venues and we examined the quality of the entertainment and the venue and gave a ranking for these. A cross, meaning that the quality was poor, a tick, meaning it was okay, and 2 ticks for excellent. First of all, the Blues Club, which obviously specialises in blues music. This was a pretty small place and the seating was minimal, so we didn't give that a very good rating.
No, we don't recommend that one, really.
Then the Sansu, which plays a lot of South American music. It was a big place, very lively, good performers, so 2 ticks for that one. The Pier Hotel is a folk venue, a good place for local and up-and-coming folk artists to play. Not the best of venues, as it's in a basement and a bit dark, but the quality of the entertainment was reasonable and the lighting was very warm, so we felt it deserved an average rating. Now finally, there's the Bald Rock Cafe, which features big rock bands and is pretty popular with students, and we enjoyed ourselves there as well, so top marks for that one.
And then, did you get any information from the students as to which of the clubs they preferred?
That is the end of section 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers. This is the end of side 1. The test continues on side 2.